Hi everyone, it's day 71 of the Vendée Globe, and my guest today is the former race director of the Vendée, Denis Horeau. Denis was the organizer of the first Vendée Globe race in 1989 and led the race direction team in 2004 when I was a competitor. He's recently written a book about the race called My Vendée Globe: Behind the Scenes of the Legendary Race. And Denis is also the CEO of an international clean tech week, an international event that showcases green technologies to consumers and to businesses. So let's bring him in. Welcome, Denis.
Hi, well, good evening.
Good to see you. It's been a long time.
Yes, it's been a long time, absolutely.
So I've got quite a few questions for you. Let's kick off with just talking a little bit about this incredible race, which you were involved with right from the very beginning. Have you had a chance to follow this edition of the race?
Of course, every day, a couple of times every day, of course. Seeing the tracker, the weather forecast, and the rankings and everything, of course. Yeah, five, six times a day
Yep.
since the beginning. And I had the opportunity to go to the start of the race. And it was incredible because you know exactly how Les Sables d'Olonne, this city is when the race is going to start. It's, it's a small city, but the crowd is huge and there is a lot of noise
Yep.
and movements, noise, and the mob, the crowd. And this time we we had no noise at all,
Yeah.
no movement at all, nobody on the dock on the pontoon, nobody in town, nobody, no noise, no movement. It was like if we had uh, isolated this city
Yep.
outside of the world.
Yep.
It was incredible, but we had a beautiful start.
Yeah. Yep.
The start was amazing, absolutely amazing,
Who
beautiful.
who's impressed you the most this race?
Well, I know quite well Jean Le Cam. Jean Le Cam always impresses me very much,
Yep.
but not only Jean Le Cam. If you consider Damien Seguin, he's doing a brilliant and fantastic job, really, with only one hand.
Yep.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
But
he's
if you,
been the star for me, I think.
oh yes, but Isabelle Joschke is doing a great job too. Klaus Kremer is doing very well,
Yep.
and um, I would say this is it. But Jean, Damien, Isabelle, and Clarisse are absolutely surprising,
Yep.
and of course, uh, I would be very happy if Yannick Bestaven was able to win the race, of course,
Yep.
because Yannick has so much experience and he's not known enough by the public. So if ever he could win this race, it would be absolutely beautiful.
Yep. Yep. Now, tell me a little bit about your book. You've written a book about the race. It's a sort of behind the scenes view. What what? Tell me a little bit about what's in it and why you wrote it.
Well, I just wanted to my consideration is that we all know the Vendée Globe now, but I was a little bit afraid that we could forget where we come from, how it was built, who were the major people working for it, how did it how how did it come from nothing to one of the most important races in the world. This was my what I thought. I so I wrote it in a simple way, like A, B, C, D, like a dictionary,
Yep.
which allows me to go from this point to this point, from kitchen to solo to assistance to stopovers to technical items to everything, to dresses, to food, to water, everything. So
Great.
it's very easy. So the reader can can pass from budgets to organization to race management
Yep.
to kitchen, whatever. So you just pick up whatever you want to read, and then at the end of the book, you have a small universe, because the Vendée Globe, you know it because you sailed it. It's a small universe.
Yep.
So I just want to show this universe going from here to there and entering this universe by several doors, by 200 or 300 doors.
Great.
This is it.
Great. Oh, I look forward to seeing some more. So you're a former race director. You understand the pressures of of this race, the mentality of the sailors, and you've lived and breathed this race. I want to go back to the incident with Kevin Escoffier when he had his incident with and this incredible rescue by the team and by Jean Le Cam. What did you think of this incident during the race?
We were once again we were more than lucky, because we could lose Kevin. Why that? Because during 6 or 7 hours we had wrong positions of Kevin. So at the end, fortunately, the beacon gave a right position,
Yeah,
a good position. And Jean-Luc Ham was asked to go on this position, and he found Kevin. But during 7 hours, we had wrong positions.
yeah,
So nobody knew exactly where Kevin was. That's the first point. The second point is we were very lucky, because this uh, occurred with two great sailors,
yeah,
Jean Le Cam and Kevin Escoffier. I don't know if what would have been the end of the story with some less experienced sailors.
yeah,
So, fortunately, it's a fairy tale. At
yeah,
the end of it, Kevin is home in Brittany, everything is all right.
yeah.
But we were
Very
very
close.
close to a disaster once again.
Yeah,
Once again.
yeah. You know what lessons can be learned from that? What lessons should be learned from that incident?
A lot of lessons, but it all depends on what you want to do, what the organizer wants to do with this race. Uh, it is curious, or it asks questions to see a boat like PRB folding like that.
Yeah, yeah,
It brings a lot of questions. Then, why did we have wrong positions during 7 hours? One must know why.
yeah,
Then uh, we should, or the organizer should listen to Jean and to Kevin to know what can be improved or
yeah,
what could be done better. But this is going to be done, I hope, at the end of this Vendée Globe.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting about learning the lessons. You know, when we think of things like the Volvo Ocean Race and you know incidents with man overboard. You know, Kevin's situation was dramatic in that you know he had to think very quickly and
Yes,
prioritize very quickly to save his life. And when sometimes the life raft is not easy to get to, or the EPIRB is not quite in the right place, we need to change our mentality such that these things can be deployed automatically, to and can be deployed very, very quickly, because the incident with Kevin was just minutes. He had to think.
Yeah,
And I agree with you. If it had been a less experienced sailor, I'm not
yeah,
sure they would have had the mental strength to think in the way that he thought.
absolutely. And they never panicked. Never.
No.
They always had this constant mood. We're going to succeed. We're going to do it. Okay. And they did it. But once again, it is quite a miracle.
Yeah. 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 That's really, really interesting. I wanted to get your thoughts on that. Now, just moving slightly onto technology, you're involved um, with an event and a company looking at clean technologies.
Yes.
What did you think of the IMOCA 60 of Alex Thompson in this race? He'd put a lot of innovation into this boat. Uh, some things we can learn.
Well, I don't know. First of all, I wrote it in the book. I really wanted to Alex to win the race. We need a foreign skipper to win the race. Otherwise, once again, we're going to have uh, a French winner this time. So that's 9 French winner.
Yep.
We have this can no
Unless
no no
Boris Herman can get up there.
yes, okay, unless Boris can win, okay, but anyway, we need some other nationality to win the race. So this is the first point. After, the second point is, how do you consider sailing? Is sailing being close to nature, being part of nature, feeling the wind, feeling the sea? Or do you consider that sailing can be done inside a boat without going outside?
Hmm.
It's just a feeling. So I I have no opinion on the way Alex was sailing inside his boat with 9 cameras, screens, and
Yep.
all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
I don't know. I should experience it before having an opinion on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Today, I know exactly how it is to sail outside, to feel the sea, the wind, day, night, and everything. I don't know how we can sail into a cockpit, closed cockpit, with 9 cameras and screens. I don't know. So
Yeah.
I have no opinion on this. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's an interesting thought, really, when most of us, we dream of the Vendée Globe because we want to get away from life and screens and technology and have this
Okay.
incredible adventure. So the thought of going there and spending more time on screens
I don't
would be
know.
difficult.
I don't,
So
it could be good.
it,
I don't know.
and in terms of other technologies, so is it time for the next race in 2024 that the race direction makes every boat not use fossil fuels, for example?
I think that many skippers do not care about using fuels and fossil energy and these kind of things. They don't care. Just remember that in 2004, I proposed to the IMOCA to make a small lab with the Vendée Globe.
Hmm.
You know that we need a lot of energy to sail such a boat.
Yeah.
So I proposed them to have 4 units making energy: one with wind, another one with water, another one with sun, and another one with fuel. And if we make a small lab, and if we ask all the skippers to have on board these 4 units, at the end of the race, you're going to be able to know which unit was the more powerful
Mm-hmm.
and which unit didn't work properly, and etc. etc. And after 2 or 3 races, you can have only 2 units and make very good electricity. And when I proposed this in 2004, nobody cared about this.
No.
They said, we don't care about it. And my opinion is that today they do not care about it, except some of them, like Stéphane Le Diraison, for example. Some of them think that we should change the rules, but the rules are still the same. So, who will make such a decision? Is it the Vendée Globe organizer? This organizer should make the decision.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask the skippers to make the decision, they will not do it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It will not change. It should change, of course. We should make a lab of this Vendée Globe. We should talk about science, about climate change. We have to talk about this, but nobody cares about this.
Yeah.
Everybody cares only about sailing. That's all.
Yeah. So on that, if you imagine in 2024 you're the race director, what would you like to see change? What would you like to see happen?
Well, the first thing that I would ask the organizer, 2 questions. Do you want the Vendée Globe to stay an non-assistance and single-handed race? And in that case, you have to stick to that point and make the notice of race and the rules exactly sticking to that point,
Mm-hmm.
non-assistance and single-handed. That's vision number 1. Vision number 2 is, do you want to have the best technologies of the 21st century with foils, with electronic, with teams ashore, with very high thinking technologies and so on, with help from these guys to the skipper? What kind of a race do you want? You cannot have the race which is with no assistance and knowing that the skippers are linked 24 a day with their shore crew. It doesn't work. Of course, they have assistance now. So which kind of race do you want to have? This would be my question. And according to the answer, we should make the race rules. But today, the race rules are absolutely not sticking to the reality. The reality is that the sailors have a smartphone. This smartphone is 24 a day connected to the shore,
Yeah.
to the team. This is the way it goes. So what do we want?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is my question.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, they're all very important questions. Certainly, when I read this time round, most of the communication is via WhatsApp,
Yeah,
which and it means the skippers, with talking with their teams, talking with their families, 24 hours
yeah,
a day. It's
yeah,
even in the last 20 years, things have changed a lot.
yeah,
If you have to imagine what they will change in the next 5 or 10 years, in the next 2 editions, where will we be? So no, it's good to ask those questions. So let's have a quick look at the tracker
yeah,
and the current weather situation. This was the situation just before the weekend.
Yeah,
If I just play the teams forward, so they've gone across the doldrums.
yeah.
The lead,
Easily.
nice crossing for most of them, and then we've got a little bit of a split with Louis Berton opting to take a more westerly course at the moment,
Yeah,
and Charlie Dallon sailing a little bit higher. Obviously, he has room to come down. So I had a quick look at the weather for the next period, really, and the key really is this big ridge, this high pressure ridge,
yeah.
which is a long way south of the normal Azores position, with the depressions extending a long way south and their fronts extending a long way south. Um, so both teams are trying to position themselves to pick up this first front, this first extended low pressure, and then carry it across the Atlantic. So if we look at the weather forecast for the next few days, they're going to be in the trade winds, and then they start to feel the effects of this high pressure on
Yeah.
Wednesday afternoon. Uh,
Okay.
and I think at the moment, I quite like the position of Louis being out to the west. It's going to be quite critical if he can pick up the first weather system and turn his bow towards Le Sable d'Olonne. But what do you
Okay.
think? What do you think of his strategy?
Well, I think Louis is a brilliant sailor. And recently, Michel Desjoyaux wrote something about Louis. And he said that Louis is always happy and always catching the good spirit.
Yep.
The, uh, he's always in a good mood. And that's a real strength. It makes Louis very clever and very strong at sea.
Yep.
Louis never complains, never complains. He's always happy. He's just picking up what comes. We smile.
Yep.
So I think that we could have a small advantage on Charlie um, with his mental strengths.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
That's
Afterwards, will he be able to pick up the westerly wind before? I don't know. This I don't know. Being a little bit west means that he could have the first this westerly current towards Les Sables d'Olonne, but so many things can happen that it's pretty difficult now to make plans or to know exactly who's going to work, who's going to win. It's pretty difficult.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with you about his mentality, his mental
Yeah,
state. If you think a few weeks ago, he was in the Southern Ocean climbing his mast off the shelter of the Macquarie Island, making
yeah,
repairs, 1,000 miles behind the leaders. And, here he is. He's sailed a very nice course. He's back in front. At the moment he's leading the race, although the positions are saying Charlie is leading, but I think actually his position is favourable. Uh,
yeah.
he's sailed a really interesting race, really great race.
Well, I would like to see him winning if ever these two are still leading the race. I really would like Louis to win because um, I like when the experience is uh, is successful,
Yep.
and it is the third Vendée Globe entry for Louis, and he deserves to win if ever these two sailors uh, still are leading.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Have a quick look at the routing for Louis. So this was this morning. So that high pressure ridge they have to get across, and then it looks like
Yeah.
the first low pressure moves off. They have another little light patch and then another big system coming across, and it's that system that very quickly takes them to the Sable d'Olonne. So we could be looking at the first boat crossing the line in about 8 days from now.
Okay.
So not as fast as 2016, 17,
No.
but maybe the Atlantic route will be favorable to have a fast trajectory around this high pressure and back to Le Sable d'Olonne.
And if ever Louis was winning, the boat would have win twice, because remember that this
Yes.
boat won in 2016,
Yep.
exactly like when Michel Desjoyaux and Vincent Rioux in 2000 and 2004 used the same boat.
Yep.
Exactly like the same situation.
Yeah, that's good to know, because good also to know, I mean, I don't know what Louis' final budget was, but I imagine, he bought the winning boat in 2016. He didn't change very much. Uh,
No,
kept kept sailed with a very small team, smaller budgets, but
yeah,
has done a really excellent job.
yeah. This year, to me, this Vendée Globe is makes the experience successful
Hmm.
more than ever.
Yep. Yeah. We certainly, with people like Jean Le Cam, sailed a
Yes,
fantastic race, and
absolutely.
Yannick Besteven again, sailed a really fantastic race.
Exactly. Yes,
So I agree, and also the boat's performance for the new foiling boats has not been an easy race for them. Whereas for Jean Le Cam, for Benjamin Detrue, these sailors, they've been sailing their non-foiling boats 100% of their polars
absolutely. Yes,
throughout the whole race, which has been fantastic.
absolutely, absolutely. That's why I call this the success of experience for this edition of the race.
Yep.
Small budgets, big experience, classic boats, and at the end of the day, you will have on the podium, well, good sailors, or maybe not on the podium, but between the 5 or the 6 top, you will have some very high experience, classic boats, and good preparation, small budgets, which is quite different from edition 7 or edition 8. It's quite different.
Yep. Yep. So you're going to have to write another chapter to the book.
We'll see, we'll see, we'll see.
Fantastic. That was really, really lovely to catch up. Fantastic to ask you those questions. Thank you so much for
Thank you,
joining me.
thank you, thank you. And
And
I'm very sorry because my English is quite poor now. I have to practice it, but anyway, I
well,
did my best.
I think they were some brilliant answers. And yeah, we've got one more week for the leaders. Obviously, longer
Yeah,
for the rest of the fleet. But I think
yeah,
it's going to be a very, very interesting week to see who wins. No one's sure who's going to win this race, which is great.
absolutely. You're right. You're right. Till the end. Till the end.
So that was Denis Horeau. Fantastic to get his reflections and thoughts on this year's race, and of course to look back at some of the earlier editions. He was race director for the original race in 1989, and also led the race direction team in 2004-5. We're back on Wednesday. Have a great night. We'll see you then. Cheers.